We are on top of breaking news right now. Crews have pulled a body from the river that they say belongs to Riley Strain, the missing college student from Mizzou. They say it does not appear that foul play was involved with this. Brendan Tierney is at the site where crews entered the water after making the discovery. The body was found underneath a barge. Brendan, a lot of activity there. We just saw the medical examiner leave that scene as well. What else are you learning?
Amanda, yeah, we saw a medical examiner transport vehicle heading out of the scene here, escorted by Metro Police. Presumably, that was where the body of Riley Strain was. That was the only medical examiner car we saw leave the scene out here. In addition to that, there's been Metro Police boats and a large, heavy police presence out here at what's an oil refinery. It appears to be an oil storage facility out here along the banks of the Cumberland River. Metro Police say that Riley's body was found about 8 miles from downtown, and there is no foul play suspected as they are still out here on scene. I want to give you a bit of a closer look at what exactly we are seeing out here right now as Metro Police on scene still have a couple of vehicles out here at the gate. There was a time earlier they had 4 or 5 vehicles blocking the gate out here. The heavier police presence is back towards the water where there are still a number of Metro Police vehicles. We've seen the crime scene unit. We've seen unmarked cars all coming out here today, this morning. Metro Police on scene throughout the past couple of hour, 45 minutes or so, have shifted their focus from where they were a little bit downriver out here. It appears that there wasn't access to the boat to get on the water down there where the body was actually found before Metro Police came out here. We are awaiting a briefing from Metro Police. We're told it will happen out here on this scene to get more information about exactly how this body was found. Metro Police, exactly how they were able to identify it as Riley Strain today. Of course, Amanda, marks 14 days since the 22-year-old University of Missouri student went missing after being kicked out of a Broadway bar. So much of that focus had centered in downtown Nashville, where Riley was last seen, went missing. And of course, over the past couple of days, they shifted all the way downriver to the Cheatham County Dam, Cheatham County line, searching the river there. That's where I was yesterday. So we're going to continue focusing on exactly what's happening out here throughout the day, as it does appear Metro Police are clearing the scene somewhat out here. We are awaiting an official briefing from officers.
All right, if you can stand by for us, Brendan, because we have a few more questions for you, but we want to give folks some perspective if we can. Originally this morning, crews and a flurry of crews responded to 61st Avenue North in the Nations area of Nashville. This is video from that scene, and this is where they first responded after getting reports of a body in the water. This is where they say that they realized that a body was trapped underneath a barge, and then a few minutes later, everybody left this particular area and went about 3 miles away to where we just saw Brendan, onto Ed Temple Boulevard, which is right by TSU. And that's where they said, okay, you know what? This is where we're going to be able to get into the water. It was too steep at the other location. Let's try this other area. And we're able to see that they were able to make it right into the water there to perform that recovery effort. And it did not take long for them to confirm that the body that they found in the river does indeed belong to Riley Strain. It is important to note, they say there does not appear to be any obvious signs of trauma from foul play, but that an autopsy is going to happen so that they can better determine what happened here. We knew that this location where they were searching is not far, of course, from where the focus of the search for Riley Strain has been unfolding for 2 weeks now today. Brendan Tierney, let's talk a little bit more about exactly what you've been seeing from that scene. It really didn't take much time from the time authorities got to this second location for us to see that medical examiner truck leaving the scene and other officers following and leaving.
Yeah, Amanda, when we saw that medical examiner transport truck come by, it drove right past me. It had a Metro government vehicle in front of that, followed by a Metro police car. Of course, they were escorting that medical transport vehicle away from the scene here. And a short time later, there was another just flood of police cars coming out from the gate behind us, followed by a trailer. It had 2 boats on it that were down at the water. They made their way out of the scene here as well just a short time ago. And we know that in about 2 minutes here, Metro Police are prepared to
begin walking us through this investigation and their response to both of these different scenes. So we anticipate that Don Aaron here in a moment, or another member of the Metro Police Department, will be sharing updates on how the report came in, how the discovery was made, and what's coming next. Of course, we know the autopsy is going to be the very next thing, but the initial indication is no signs of foul play or no observations of trauma related to foul play.
Yeah, we got these notifications probably about 2 hours ago now, and we've had a crew out there on those scenes following this very closely. It's been 2 weeks since Riley Strain went missing in downtown Nashville, and really a timeline that we've seen, those progressive videos that have been released over the past few days of just showing a bit of a glimpse of what has led up to what we found out.
So 9:45 right about now, any minute now, we're expecting Metro Nashville Police to give us an update on what's happening now and what happens next. It doesn't sound like their investigation includes anything regarding foul play, but of course they're waiting on an autopsy to confirm all of that information. Downtown Nashville, and specifically the water, has been the focal point of their search and their investigation. And we know it's because that's where his phone last pinged from, 9:53, 2 weeks ago Friday, after he had been kicked out of a bar, after he had been shown on camera stumbling through parts of downtown Nashville and even having what seemed to be a very brief yet normal interaction with the Metro Police officer.
Yes, he said hello back, and they both went about their business. Again, a story that we've been following very closely, video there just showing Riley downtown that night that he went missing 2 weeks ago. Today and throughout this series of videos we've been showcasing you throughout the last few weeks, you see that timeline of what led up. Ultimately, we're going to find out some more details here, hopefully in the next few minutes, from Metro Nashville Police as they're working at that investigation.
We saw a swift response so far this morning. So from the time that the report came in to crews showing up at that original location in the Nations at 61st Avenue North to begin responding to that report of a body in the water, to the point that they made their way to the second location to actually be able to get into the water to reach the barge where the body was found. I mean, all of that happened fairly quickly this morning. So I think it's safe to say a pretty swift response as authorities made their way down to the river. The initial obstacle, it sounds like, was that at that first location, it was just too steep of an embankment to be able to get into the water from the Nations, and that's why they had to circle back to the TSU area at Temple Boulevard to try to find a launch point for their boat so that they could get into the water and begin the recovery process.
Well, even last night they were doing some searching, some nighttime searching for him, and they visited the Cheatham County Dam just a day before that. Again, people coming from out of state to find this young man. A lot of people have been looking for him. I think we just got an update that our Jordan James is live now from one of those scenes that police have been searching. Jordan, what have you learned?
Good morning, Alexandra. Well, right now we're standing by trying to get an update from Metro Police about the body of Riley Strain being discovered. Now, this comes 2 weeks after he was reported missing following going to Luke Bryan's bar, where he was kicked out and made his way to the Cumberland River to not be seen again. And again, officials really focused heavy on the Cumberland River, considering he was captured on surveillance camera wandering along the walkway, interacting with Metro Police, and they had really had a feeling that he may be in the Cumberland River. At this point in time, we don't know exactly how he ended up here. Again, we're waiting on those additional details, but I have noticed that it appears that a lot of volunteers have started to show up here at this scene. As you guys know, a lot of folks have been invested into this search as a result of the social media following that this has generated, given that his story resonates with so many, for the simple fact that, you know, Riley was out on Broadway and didn't come home. I know his parents were holding out hope for several days that they would be able to take him back to Missouri, but unfortunately that has not happened. But again, we're just standing by waiting for an update.
All right, Jordan, thanks. Let's talk about, if you're just joining us, what's going on right now. So we're on top of breaking news. The body of Riley Strain has been found this morning in the Cumberland River, and the authorities are saying they do not believe foul play is involved based on the trauma that they're seeing, that an autopsy is pending to determine exactly what happened. But another piece of the story we have not yet talked about is this TABC investigation that's now underway. So we know that Riley Strain had gotten kicked out of a bar. He was seen kind of stumbling around downtown, and then automatically the TABC said, you know what, we're going to look into where he had been served alcohol that night. Apparently the bar is saying he was served one drink there, had two waters. So now that investigation by the TAB has expanded to look at where else he had been that night. And they're trying to answer the question of whether or not he had been overserved.
Right, and we do know that he was here visiting Nashville with a group of his fraternity brothers from Mizzou at the time, a senior at that college. Again, the latest update is that his body has now been found 2 weeks since the day that he went missing. Video there leading to some of what we have been seeing throughout this timeline of trying to find him. And now we're hopefully going to get those updates here from Metro Police. Again, no foul play suspected as of this point.
Yeah, I think that they are getting ready. If we can just take a live look back at the scene there, getting ready to begin this news conference. So we are noticing some activity in that area as we get ready to bring that to you live, hoping for more information from authorities this morning about who reported the discovery of that body, what obstacles they faced in that recovery effort, and how the family is doing this morning. I mean, this has been such a gut-wrenching process for them. They're not from here. They're from out of town. They don't know the area. They don't have a support system here until so many people really came to help.
The story making national headlines. I mean, you really couldn't have missed it. But hearing, his mother throughout this has been, again, that gut-wrenching sound that we've been listening to.
She said, this is my best friend. I just want him to come home. They had been texting that evening before his disappearance, and not much longer after they had texted did he vanish.
Right.
So, this is a close relationship between mother and son, and our hearts just go out to this family today.
Absolutely.
Tough news.
Absolutely, yeah. So again, Riley Strand's body has been recovered. Just about 20 minutes ago, we got that news. So we're bringing you this update here, letting you all know about the story that we have been extensively covering here on air and here online as well. So there's a boat there. It looks like we're having a live image there near 61st Avenue in the Nations area. So police still investigators on this scene.
Let's ask Jordan, because we just saw him walk by. Jordan, any idea, are they pulling out of the water, these different boats that we're seeing come out of that specific drive? What can you tell from the scene there? Okay, he may not be connected to his earpiece, so he may not be able to hear us. Brendan on the scene there as well. Again, you can see crews setting up for this news conference. Chief Drake, the police chief, is here. We see Don Aaron walking up to the podium as well. So by all accounts, this news conference is about to start. Let's listen in.
I am in Channel 2.
Okay, we'll give everybody a chance to get set up, and Mike's in good shape, and the mic tested and everything.
Again, if you're just joining us, that is Don Aaron and Chief Drake standing behind him from the Metro Nashville Police Department after discovering the body of Riley Strain in the Cumberland River.
Okay, I'm going to look to my from my left and around to the right. Everybody give me a thumbs up if you're ready.
And we're just getting in the process of get ready here for this news conference. They've just arrived on scene to give us the latest on this recovery.
This morning we have a unfortunate update for you on the Riley Strain search. Chief John Drake, Metropolitan Nashville Police Department, will be speaking with you. Chief Drake.
Thank you, Don. Good morning, everyone. This morning around 7:28 a.m. we received a call from a worker on 61st Avenue at a company that adjourns the Cumberland River that had been searching for anything that would pop up on the river, and especially looking for Riley Strain that would surface here. As they were removing objects from the river, they noticed what appeared to be Riley Strain pop up. The fire department was called in, retrieved the body from the river. The medical examiner's office reviewed the body, and we've confirmed that it is Riley Strain. The family has been contacted. There are no signs of foul play at this time, according to the examination here at the riverbank. Mr. Strain still had the shirt on that he was wearing, still had the watch, and other identifying factors that helped us identify who he is. I want to say to the family, my heart and prayers go out to you all for this very unfortunate and tragic incident. I also want to say thank you to the Nashville community and the outpouring community of the outpouring support from the community in trying to help us locate Mr. Strain. I also want to say thank you to our USAR team and to the fire department and OEM and TWRA and everyone else, and including the media, for everything that you've done, for the countless tips that came in. We received nearly 200 tips as of yesterday that we were vetting out. So at this time, the family's been notified. There will be an autopsy more than likely sometime today, and we'll have a little bit further from that point. So thank you.
Chief, can you tell us, is there any other additional evidence that points you to the theory that it seems like you've been going after for a while now? It's just that he fell into the river, accidentally?
Yeah, there's no other evidence that suggests anything other than we have reports that normally under these circumstances with his height and weight that he could have surfaced between 14 and 20 days. This is the 14th day, so we were really expecting anytime soon to find him. In fact, our search teams was going to put in the water here this morning and then search from this point further down. So we were in the right spot. It's just unfortunate. But there's nothing to suggest anything other than any foul play at all.
You said that these were crews that were actually looking for him that found him?
Yes, that's so the workers typically on the river, whether it's barge companies, concrete companies, other businesses that actually are on the river, and they look routinely. It's happened countless times before. And as they moved, I believe, a barge, and don't quote me on that, they removed something from the river, and as they moved it, they noticed Mr. Strain, and called it in.
Typically work on the water. They weren't necessarily search crews.
Right, yeah.
Okay, thank you all.
Thank you.
Conference from Chief Drake on the scene there at Ed Temple Boulevard, where the body of Riley Strain, the college student who has been missing for 2 weeks now, was discovered this morning. And it sounds like the biggest takeaway is that they believe at this point he likely fell into the water. That's the operational theory at this point after pulling the body and not finding any signs of foul play.
And workers around that area, near that area of the river, routinely, what Chief Drake says, they typically look for things like this, and they happen to find Riley just hours ago, around 7:30 this morning. And what I found very interesting, Amanda, was they said that given his height and weight, typically this would have been the first day that they would have located someone of his stature.
They had been anticipating that if he indeed fell into the water, this would have been the day, or in the coming next days, that they would have found him based on those factors. In fact, they were so confident in that they had already planned to have boats in the water today doing a search in that particular area. So they were aware that this was an important day, and they were planning their search efforts all around that. They said that they have contacted the family, which, gosh, you think about what an emotional phone call that had to have been. This is a family that has been here since day one of his disappearance. They're from out of town. They're not from here. They have no real support system, and they have been desperate to find their son, and they have said all along, we're not leaving without him.
Exactly right. And Chief Drake also made note of the outpouring of love that they have been receiving from not just the Nashville community, but volunteers coming just nationwide to help try and find this young man and bring that closure to his family.
So let's talk a little bit about that discovery. They say, a lot of businesses there on the river, it's part of their routine to check the riverbanks and clear the riverbanks of debris. And in this particular case, they may have moved a barge, and that's when they made the discovery of Riley Strain's body. Police say that he was still wearing the shirt that he was last seen in, he was still wearing the watch, and that there were other identifying factors that allowed them to confirm that this indeed was the body of Riley Strain. What comes next? So an autopsy is the next piece of this, and authorities are saying that they believe that will happen at some point today. And then the TABC, of course, is going to continue its investigation. Their big question is, was he overserved at any of these bars downtown that he may have visited? That's the question they're trying to answer.
Right, and I think we have our Brendan Tierney now on the scene there. Brendan, can you tell us what more you've learned from this press conference?
Yeah, my big takeaway from this press conference is how Metro Police say that Riley's body was discovered. They say it was people who are barge operators. They're working out on the river here every day, and they were doing routine checks. Earlier in the week, Metro Police had told us that they were asking everyone who's working on the river, or if you're just out fishing or something like that, to start checking every day for any sign of Riley. And in the end, that is exactly how they ended up finding his body out here today. Metro Police officers say that they were called as soon as they got that discovery, and they came out on scene and were able to recover the body of Riley. Of course, Metro Police said that no foul play was suspected in this case. They found Riley still wearing his shirt that so many people were searching for. It was such a distinct shirt, and that's one of the ways they were able to identify him so quickly. His family has been identified, and of course, they just, as Chief Drake had mentioned, are just so heartbroken, as so many other people in the community will be by this discovery. It's definitely a worst-case scenario out of this 2-week-long search for Riley, but hopefully it's at least able to bring some closure for the family after what's been such a heartbreaking time period. Every time we've had a chance to talk with them, they've been getting emotional and struggling to process everything. Metro Police out here continuing to exit the scene. Just a few police cars remain on scene out here, as the medical examiner had already left, and we've seen now 2 trailers with boats leave the area here along Ed Temple Boulevard, right by TSU's campus.
I think so many people have been so invested in this story, and hoping and praying that there would be a different outcome. Mayor Freddie O'Connell just now tweeting about the discovery. He says, of course, this is not the outcome that anyone had hoped for or wanted, especially his parents and everyone who loved him. Such an immense amount of sadness following this discovery.
He was saying that, he met with his family earlier this week, and as devastating as this news is, I can't even imagine the heartbreak. So they're going to continue to work with that family, he goes on to say, as they're looking for even more answers with that autopsy that the chief of police, John Drake, said that they will be conducting today.
And I think the big question is going forward, how did this happen? And what could potentially we glean from that TABC investigation into the various establishments that he may have visited the night that he disappeared? We saw this kind of almost heartbreaking video of him stumbling through downtown.
Of that night.
Yeah, it was really hard to watch and difficult to see somebody in that state and alone. But then I think what was odd was to see how okay he appeared in that interaction with the Metro Police officer right before he disappeared.
Right. That was one of those final videos of the looks that we got before obviously finding out the news that we did just about 30 minutes ago. Again, Riley Strain, that missing college student from Missouri, now found in the Cumberland River just around 7:30 this morning.
Police say no foul play. They believe he simply fell into the river, but an autopsy is underway today. We're going to keep you updated on this breaking news story throughout the day, starting at 11 o'clock on the air and all the time in the WSMV 4 News app.